5, 4, 3, 2.
When you watch someone for almost 20 years, over 20 years on television,
20 years, Nancy.
he is your own. David Brinkley is that. Garrick Utley has been around a very long time with NBC as well, and as a matter of fact, Minnesota sort of claims you, don't we?
I spent 4 very cold winters up in Northfield, Minnesota, the town of cows, colleges, and contentment at Carleton College.
You know,
He says that with
Loved it.
great nostalgia.
Great nostalgia.
Happy
It was
nostalgia.
cold.
you two are in a business that is enviable in that you not only are well rewarded financially for what you do, those of us outside of it assume that it's terribly exciting to travel all over the world as you have.
Eating
What do you
airline
mean
food.
outside of it? We're both in the same business.
Well, I'm not whisking off on airplanes to cover conventions and any number of other things, Mr. Brinkley.
Maybe well off.
You have your hand on the pulse of literally what happens in the world, and I often watch you and think, are you as impressed by that privilege as those of us who watch you are?
I think I have been aware in the 16 years, most of it spent overseas, 16 years with NBC News traveling, of the great privilege to have been able to see firsthand all of these events, or so many of these events that have been going on. And there are days to be down in the Sinai Desert in the Middle East, or in Prague when the Russians marched in, or even in Vietnam or in Africa, and you say, here I am, seeing the people and hearing the sounds and not having to read about it on the front page of a newspaper or sit and watch it on television back home. So that is what the reward is, more than anything else.
You were talking earlier, Mr. Brinkley, about not really wanting to be a star, but one can't avoid it when you've been in everyone's living room for over 20 years.
Well, you can be in people's living rooms for 20-odd years and come to be known to them, favorably or otherwise, without being a star. Star is a movie term. It applies in the film industry where an actor or an actress will have a star on the door of the dressing room and will have a Rolls Royce and a dozen red roses waiting when he or she arrives in town, that sort of thing. That's what stars are. We're not stars. We may be well known. It may be that when people see us in the street, they know who we are. But there's quite a difference between that and being a star. I'm no star. Garrick's no star.
Now, just between the three of us, since no one else is listening,
Nobody's listening.
we already know that journalists, news people, must be objective. The public is not supposed to hear your opinion, and I guess we often think, well, then they are. They don't have an opinion. In fact, behind closed doors, aren't you all human beings of strong opinions?
Of course we all have opinions, and this thing of being objective is false, because nobody is a machine. We are not robots. When a newspaper editor decides to pick one story as the headline, that is a decision. That is his decision. I mean, somebody does that. When somebody decides what is the first story, the lead story on Nightly News Tonight, and what is the 10th story, or what isn't covered at all, that is a decision. So the news business is not run by computer. And we try to be, I think the word is, as fair as possible and as balanced as possible. But I don't like the word objective in the sense that we're all 100% objective, because no human being can be that.
Nancy, if a person were objective, he would like nothing, dislike nothing, approve of nothing, disapprove of nothing, have no values, no standards, no opinions, and he probably ought to be locked up.
I think that particularly recently, we at home have come to enjoy more and more the opinions of David Brinkley.
Well, that's a separate little category on a news program in which I do what is perhaps laughingly called commentary, in which I give a few opinions, but it is separated from the news, and in the news they play it straight and they play fair. I agree with Garrick's characterization that the ideal to be striven for is fairness, not objectivity, because that is impossible. I, for example, love this country. And now that is a statement of opinion. Does anyone want to disagree with it? I doubt it.
I think that's one of the important things about this NBC Magazine program that we're working on, where we will have a team of experienced reporters. I think the important thing is to have correspondents who are experienced, who know a bit about the world and the subjects they're dealing with. And on the basis of their work and this experience, they can come to some conclusions which they can offer the audience for the audience's judgment. The audience viewer may agree or may disagree. That's up to the viewer. But I think you have to have that kind of experience as the single most important quality in a journalist, and strive for fairness. But pure objectivity, I agree with David, I don't like that word.
And NBC Magazine will present us with a format that perhaps we are not accustomed to on
Certainly
live
hope so.
television in the past. It will provide excitement because much of it will be live. You will be on location, and that spontaneity allows for you to not only share with us the immediacy of the moment, but also the mistakes, which is kind of fun too.
We'll certainly make some. We'll certainly make some.
David Brinkley, I'm very glad to have met you.
Thank you. I'm glad to have met
Mr.
you.
Utley, since
Thank
your
you.
report's in Vietnam, I
Thank
look
you
forward to
very much.
meeting you. Nice to see you both.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
We'll be right back.